Welcome to our personal branding masterclass today. You are all welcome. Please let us know where you are joining us from in the chat. And please feel free to share the link to your friends and family. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. A few house rules that I want you to know. All we want you to do is to share the link and let us know in the chat where you are joining us from. And also, please, during the presentation, feel free to send in your questions, your comments, and we will answer them as soon as after the presentation. Every question that you send, we will do well to answer after the presentation. Thank you very much. So who is GTPA? Graduate Trends Professional Academy is a company that's a non-profit organization that provides some of the things we do. We provide employability solutions, career guidance, capacity building, mentoring programs as well. Thank you very much. Please check our website, which is www.prof.academy.org. Thank you very much. It will be on the screen. Yeah, that's it. That's it on the screen. Thank you very much. Imagine you disappeared from your industry tomorrow. What would people say about you? What would people miss about you? They would only miss you if your personal brand has made a meaningful impression that has impact on them. That's how they're going to miss you about. Now, today, I'm very excited to introduce to us our guest speaker, a man I've known for over 2 decades and who I know has built his own personal brand from scratch to the corporate giant at the moment. And this young man, I call him young man because he's so young and he's very handsome, but he's smart. I just want you to know that this man we are bringing on is an expert in personal branding, and not just that, he is a visionary, he's an architect, and he's an educator as well. So please stay tuned and do not even leave your decks or wherever you are watching us from. Make sure that you glean everything that is brought us tonight. That's how I learn, and that's how I believe that we are going to get something out of tonight. So please stay tuned as we bring him on. Architect KK Banning or Kobina Banning. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Douglas. It's been such a pleasure. And hello from Arizona right now. And you're in London, right?
London, yes.
Yes.
How's the weather there? How is
the weather here? Is amazing. It's just amazing. It's incredible. Arizona, this is the best time to be in the West, if you will, because it's a little bit chilly out. The sun is also out, and so and it's almost every day, right? But be careful because at night it drops really cold. So being from Ghana, a little bit of cold.
Christy from Trinidad. Welcome.
Yes, go ahead.
Welcome from Trinidad. Welcome to tonight's edition of Graduate Trends Professional Personal Branding Masterclass. Thank you for joining us from Trinidad, all the way from Trinidad. Wow. KK, go on. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So it's such a pleasure to presenting today. I thank you for the introduction one more time. Today has been, when we talk about branding, it's a very interesting way of life. You're right. I've known you for a while, and I know that over the years, you've Graduate 10 Professional has been supporting young graduates into the industry, helping them into mentorship. Some of whom actually we've mentored in the past. So to come back and talk about branding is such an honor. And so thank you so much for the great work you guys are doing and impacting young folks, if you will. All right. So good morning if you're here in Arizona, good evening in Ghana, Trinidad, I'm not sure, all over the globe, but hello everyone. Once again, my name is Kobina Banning, and my background is in architecture. I'm an educator, as they mentioned, and I run different hats. Industries, I'm going to share with you the various industries and what we've done. But branding in itself has been something that it's a question that people would always ask. Why do I need to brand? If you're now starting out of if you just graduated and you're looking for a job, if you're in an industry and you're trying to get certain presence, you're trying to stay unique, you're trying to feel very authentic, you're trying to do things that people will actually admire about you, and that it will take you from your technical know-how to being, if you will, an expert that people will believe in what you do. I think it's a subject matter that one needs to take hold of, if you will. Now, think about it. When we talk of branding, the first thing that comes into one's mind is, oh, yeah, I own a brand, right? Everyone probably owns a Nike, a Reebok. You've sent, FedEx out. In fact, there's been things that have become household names, right? So if you think of Disney, you already know what Disney does. If you think of Apple, you know what they do, right? And these things over the years took time for it to manifest and for it to become that household name that we all know of. This is my team. In everything that we do, it's all about a team. Some of the team we collaborate with, others are in-house, but a great team actually adds onto it, and they all do believe in a vision. We all come from different backgrounds, and different type of personalities. But with one brand, we are normally known for the work that we do. So my successes has not been something that I can just take sole credit for, but it is the collectiveness. And I really appreciate the team that I have been working with. Now, our team really takes. We love looking at the urban cities, urban environments, mega cities, and our core work has been just around that. I mean, if you think of branding, quite frankly, it's when you're in an urban area, it's really, really important, right? Most of us, if you look at the current, almost globally, about half of the world population are all living in the urban cities, right? That's almost close to 4.5 billion people living in the urban cities. London alone has about 92%. It's projected that about 92% of the people in the UK will be living in the urban cities by the year 2030. Now, out of that 92%, you have almost close to 40 million people being in the age gap of 18 to 65 that are also living in the urban city. So I'm from Ghana, so I would always I transition between United States and Ghana. So some of my comparisons and my work will transpire through the two geolocations, if you will. And Ghana has about 64%, if you will, of people living in the urban region. Why is this really important? This is very important because think of it this way. You're trying to create a brand. You're one off the numbers that I just mentioned, and you need to stay almost unique, right? You need to come out to say that this is me and this is what I offer. I'm an entrepreneur, or I work for. There's something about you that needs to stand out. So there's a huge competition, right? There is there are things that you ought to do to be able to come out and to be noticed, or else you're just a number, right? If you look at people like, Oprah Winfrey, Steve Jobs, Michael Jackson, all these big names that we hear, where once upon a time, if you will, also within that, they are within that geo locations and the demographic that we just mentioned, and they have done something. There is something that they did that helped them come out of their community to be able to be known, right? And so, for example, Kwekusin Tim Mita is, he's from Chibi, one of the small villages, if you will. Well, it's not really a small village, but one of the cities in Ghana. And guess what? Extremely popular. If you came to Ghana right now, you mentioned KSM, everybody knows him. What has made him so well known? But mind you, branding is not only about being well known, because there are also a lot of people with amazing brands that you've not heard of, except because you're on social media. So please, let's not have that. We will be able to learn about the two, okay, if you will. Now, according to the UN, as I mentioned, about a third, 2/3 of the world's population will be in the cities by 2030. Now, as the urban population keeps growing, we need to figure out how we are adapting to various behaviors. People will have different preferences. The age population varies. Therefore, if I'm trying to stand out and I'm trying to get a target audience, who are my audience? The youth. The idea of diversity, inclusion, sustainability. All these things become interesting for you to be aware of as you are planning the you, if you will. I call it the you, right? The you. Now, here's the thing. There are various ingredients that, with these population growth, a lot of industries have been able to tap into that, and hence have made huge revenues off from, right? So if you look at popular brands that we know, for example, Coca-Cola, everybody knows what Coca-Cola is. Again, it's a very solid brand. It's known for its most popular soft drinks, right? Apple currently is the most recognized industry in globally, right? Google is the most popular search engine. You get on here, I'm very sure you just went on, you just Google, and then they just come out. Of course, now there's the chat GTP, and what you call it, the other programs that you can actually use, softwares that you can use to also search other things through AI and whatnot. Now, you also have Amazon, which is known for its largest online retail, right? Again, they're taking advantage of all these brands, of the population growth, and they have targeted certain audience that have come to like it and made it almost known as household name. So, you would wonder, well, yes, I have these big brands and all that, but what about me? I'm not a corporation. I'm not Amazon. Well, guess what? You've still been branding since day one. Okay? You've been trying to make sure that when you're writing your emails, how you write your emails, how you dress, the kind of social network you have, how you answer certain phone calls, your social media apps and communication, the car you drive, the way of your way of life is all about branding. And all these things contribute to that creating something that makes you unique, well known for what you are, and become the expert you are. Well, I just graduated and, I'm now starting. All these things don't make sense a little bit to me. So how do I start? Where do I even start from? Well, I'll share with you a little bit of my journey. So with my journey, I was very fortunate. My dad is an architect, and so right from day one, I understood the importance of a certain type of persona, right? Very detailed oriented, right? You go to various sites, you pay attention to things, the way you look at craft, the way you are attracted to certain type of creativity, the way you present. I went to school in Infantsipim, one of the best schools. Uh, Please, my Ghanaian friends, don't argue with me. In fact, the best schools, not one of, the best school in Ghana. And there, even the principles that are instilled in you of when you mention, if you're out and you mention that I go to Butchie or I went to Infantsipim, I'm MOBA, the name alone has it resonates a certain type of class of people, if you will, that actually understand. I went on to Arizona State University, where once again at ASU School of Design, once again you talk about architecture, you talk about design. There are certain people I met that played a huge role in shaping the way I look at life in general, and how that can, in the long term, make an impact on my career. So it was a learning curve. After ASU, I formed a company, a nonprofit, Fusion Architecture, and then went on. We have Fusion Design, and I'll be telling you a little bit more about all that. And now I teach at Arizona State University studios. Right now, here's the thing. In that journey, right, I ended up working with a firm called Clee Architect. Now, John, a partner in design. And John is the one in the far right. I'm not sure. Yeah, far right. And John mentioned something to me. He said to me, you know what, Kobina? And this is after graduation and, starting college. So this picture is about 2 decades old. Yeah. I'm not trying to tell you my age. And he said to me, Kobina, if you are going to basically make it, you need to act it until you are. So, the old saying goes, fake it till you make it and all that. But you see, it's not necessarily, it's being true to yourself, believing and having that vision that I'm projecting this person. I have this idol, or I have this, I've read this person's biography, and this is who I want to be. Well, it can only happen, or it can only be an imaginary thing. But if you start to act, talk, walk, believe in that, right? Before you know it, you are, right? It is research has proven that. And why is it really important, really, to become that idol that you want, or that future, the unknown future that you aspire to be? Well, personal branding is quite important. And the way you are is what people also have. Every person has a what do you call it? A different opinion of who you are. So perception really matters, and perception is people's inner feeling about you, right? So if I'm thinking of, just imagine what people think of you right now. When people look at you, what do they see? When you're also not there, what do they say? Right? Now, it's never too late to start. it's never too late to start. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, once said, "Your brand is what other people say about you when you are not in the room." Guys, this is very important. Okay. When people are in front of you and you're having a chat, they have a different persona, right? Because it's obvious that people will not be confrontational, or they'll probably even give you over compliments, whatever. But when you walk out and you're not there, or when you meet somewhere and they're talking about a certain type of aspect, what they say about you is truly what that brand is. It's not what they say in front of you. So it is highly important that we do things that the importance of personal branding will help you stand out in a very competitive market. It helps you build trust and credibility when you're not even in the room. Clients will talk good things about you, right? Or, experts will mention you. They speak on your behalf. I could give multiple examples of projects that we received, not because we were there, but because of someone referring us in our absence. So do not necessarily think that you need to be there for the branding to be, to be present. But the branding can equally be present in your absence, right? Some of the names that I mentioned earlier, Michael Jackson is gone. But if you mention the king of pop, he is still alive today. Steve Jobs is gone. But look at Apple, right? So personal branding, and in the beginning, Dr. Douglas said, if you were working in a field and you left, for example, what will people say or miss about you? What impact did you give? Was it work ethics? How did they? Not long ago, I got a call and someone was trying to get a job somewhere. So, I only met the gentleman only once. And it's interesting. It takes about less than 10 minutes for you to even understand an individual's persona, whether they can or cannot do, right? And so we gave him a really great review because the first impression was amazing, right? Okay, so now we've heard a little bit about, the importance of personal brand, where we started off from, how our journeys can contribute to our personal branding, the fact that it is very important that your brand, what people say about you in your absence is equally as effective, right? So the question is, where do we start, right? What are the key ingredients of personal branding? Well, today I'll give you 3. Okay? We have honesty, passion, and uniqueness. And I'll be taking you through the various 3. Now, as I'm talking, I'm sure questions are coming out and whatnot. Please feel free to be sending the questions to Dr. Douglas, and I will do my best to answer these questions to meet the various needs, if you will. So, yes. So we have passion, uniqueness, and honesty. All right. So let's start with passion. What are you really passionate about? Why is passion important? If you have passion, your engagement level is extremely high. When you're talking to people, when you go to an interview, okay, 31% of whether or not you will get the job is your passion. Now, I would have said in certain scenarios, it could actually be 50%. Because they'll ask you a question like, how did you solve a very difficult question or problem? And then you're sitting there and you're thinking, okay, well, I did this, I did that, but your passion gives, if you have passion, it gives you confidence. Do you love what you do? What makes you wake up at night? Do you get joy in what you do? Right? When you're passionate, if we are so passionate, your creativity level is at its highest. So here's a quote I love from Gary. He says, look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what do I want to do every day for the rest of my life? It's a very difficult question. So you cannot just say that, oh, I love personal branding. I'm looking good. Look at me. No. You need to actually truly have a passion for what it is that you want people to believe in. One thing I love about my team is we are all passionate about creativity. In fact, we make jokes on that, right? It's never lacking because you're going to face challenges. You're going to face setbacks, but passion will continue to help you move. So how do you find passion, or how do you know that you found a passion, right? Number one, find out what interests you. Ask questions, be curious. What makes you so curious? Answers you give to others, like what are question Q&A, like find out, investigate, because there's going to be multiple things, but you need to narrow it down. You need to narrow it down, right? What makes you wake up in the morning very excited? Is it just about money? Because if money is the ultimate goal, there should be something more. Because when the bank account is not looking good, you might give up. But with passion, you will keep going. Challenges will always happen as you're on your journey to figuring out and narrowing down that passion. But never give up, guys. Never give up. I did some few research and I realized that Steven Spielberg failed 3 times before becoming one of the best directors. Richard Branson actually also failed 400 times before Virgin Galactic. Well, now you can go to space. I mean, it's $250,000. It's okay. But hey, it happened. Go ahead of KFC. Well, KFC, Colonel Sanders failed 1,009 times. Edison, hey, electric light bulb, 10,000 times. How many times would you try? You've tried 1, 2, 3. You've given up. Don't give up. Simply don't give up. Let's keep going. Because success is waiting. But with that passion, you can now define some of the things that makes you stand out. We've all heard about the African Elon Musk migrated to America and now worth $304 billion. But he also had a piece of failures, right? Just to mention a few, he crashed his car. He got ousted in his own company. The Falcon exploded many times. The batteries of Tesla, combustion, on and on and on. But Musk never saw all those things as failures, because it's only a problem that he's been able to what? Overcome, and has made him even a better expert. Right? So it is very important that as we gain a passion, we need to be extremely honest with ourselves. People can tell when you shake a hand and you're talking about your brand. Guys, people can tell when you're being honest, when you're being true. How many times will you go on what do you call it, Google, to search what others say about the product before you buy? When you're honest, it's a win-win value. It's not just about you, but whoever is going to consume it, whoever is going to get it, whoever the other party is, you're looking at both ways. It saves time, it saves you money. But when you're really honest, your crafting of the story is impeccable. Now, it is very important to work on that story. What is the story? Right? What is your story? First impression really counts. A different version of you does truly exist in every person's mind. What version are you going to let people know? And what would they say about you when you are not in the room? So since there are different versions, what makes you stand out? The uniqueness. This is the third ingredient. Uniqueness almost comes from talent, comes from working hard on different ideas, your experiences, your networking, and really, what is the niche? How authentic are you? I must say here, this one is actually really a big challenge. And I will not necessarily, and this here becomes a major question. Well, I'm not sure. People might say that, well, Kobina, someone is already doing it. Have you noticed when you're on, I was driving down Heathrow one time, and I don't know if I was like, I don't know the roads that well, but I was coming from Kensington, if you will. And on the roadside, there were these small hotels, different names, Brown Stage, Kingsgate, and the hotel, plenty of them. So I'm wondering, wait, why would another person do a hotel right next to each other? Because it's already being done. Guys, don't be worried if someone already has the unique person that you want to be. There's nothing new under the sun. Have these three ingredients, you will still make it. Because your story, you can make it better. You can add a little bit of soup to it. In Ghana, we are all about our pepper soup. No pepper soup in everyone's house is the same. There's always one ingredient that you add on, even though it's all pepper soup. I'm not going to talk about Nigerian jollof and Ghana jollof. But what I'm going to talk about is Japanese concept of ikigai. So I went to Japan. I visited one of my friends from college, and there's something that I learned from there. And ikigai basically gives us a concept of what do you call it? Roughly translate. It's a purpose in life. It's a concept that encourages individuals to find passion, mission in their way of actually be doing good, if you will, right? So let me check on my time real quick because I'm hoping that we're not. Douglas, how are we doing on time so far?
Good. We are good.
Oh, we are good on time? Okay, great. Great. All right. Awesome. All right. Then let me continue. Thank you so much. So so one of the good things about Ikigai is that the Japanese truly believe.
I will prompt you. If there's anything. I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was wondering, I'm looking at the time and I'm not, because I get so excited and then I keep going and I'm like, okay, so great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So one interesting and this, quite frankly, I discovered not long ago. And there's a book by Hector Garcia on Ikigai, and that basically talks about that journey of happiness, the journey that you're doing something that you you're motivated to do, right? You do it so well that it does not even matter if you get paid to do or not, but you will do it with all thy heart, all thy mind, and it follows your passion, and it becomes a profession. And as it becomes a profession, others also truly believe in you. You become the master craftsman of what it is, right? So in a way, it's about you combining your uniqueness, your passion, and honesty, and being true, the authenticity, being true to that work. And in that process of doing so, you are able to discover your self branding, right? So I'll urge you to just look further because it's a whole subject on this point, and I'm not going to go so deep into the concept. I thought that it'll be a great reference for you in your journey of pursuit of knowing and trying to find that thing that you hold dear to you that makes you wake up every morning to do, right? Now with Ikigai, after attaining that and having that understanding oneself of branding, you are able to then develop a more authentic and meaningful personal brand. You can communicate your strengths and your passion more effectively. Attract like-minded people, create a team that truly believe in you, create followers that truly believe in what it is that you're posting, create a very strong brand and keep it extremely consistent and have a presence that people admire. Okay? So Warren Buffett once said, the best investment you can do is an investment in yourself. The more you learn, the more you earn. Have you noticed what just happened? Hey, we were not talking about money, but the more you become so good at what you do, people want you. They want the service. They want to hear about you. They're following you. Or invariably, it turns into a money-making engine. But if you let the money becomes priority, those challenges, trying 1,000 times, 10,000 times, can let you down. All right. Now, you have all the ingredients, right? You have all the 3 ingredients. You have Ikigai. You're now in the system. How do I use it? Well, I'm going to tell you how we used it. So after I found all that, this is my journey, right? So we are in 5 sectors: social, architecture, communication, education, and product. Now, all these 5 sectors of our industry, so my team in various, so I have different teams, different collaborations to make these things come to life and to meet the targeted audience. But what holds us all? What is holding all these 5 sectors? The personal brand. Okay? So our fusion team is about we do outreach to communities, to support them in various aspects. I truly believe in giving back to the community. So my team and I, not long ago, we would actually reach out to communities and donate computers. We've done labs, computer labs. We've done drone trainings. We've done classroom buildings. This is an inauguration of proposal that we did, that we got funding from the one of the families to actually build a three science classroom for community in need in Ghana. All funded, all done, and it was just incredible. You should see the kids, their faces when you do that. We truly believe in that, and we want to do more. One of our trajectories again in education part is our Fusion Minds outreach to childcare. Here in Arizona, we have various aspects that we support communities through education of childcare. In fact, during COVID, some of the parents that were in the forefront that couldn't take their kids to work because they were nurses and all that, we had areas where they could actually bring their kids. Our product side, we actually design. We are massive product design. My team and I came together. We've done furniture design that is all over. We ship all over. Some of these are some of the furniture. Our new collection called the Tin Hall collection just came out, and will be released this Christmas. So we design it from scratch, take ideas from the locals. In fact, how this came about was through recycling materials. I believe true, again, since when you're in the urban area, there's a lot of waste. How do we use the waste to generate a product? So we use the waste from iron rods, and then came up with a chair. Before we knew it, we made it so good. This is in hotels, is in luxury apartments, as well as in some classrooms as well. Affordability. In architecture, we've done tons of projects. This urban one located in Kumasi, it got published in one of the magazines in France. And we've, as AC mentioned, we've done projects that we've had to exhibit in Venice Biennale. We've won international competitions. We've done presentations all over. I just actually recently met one of the finalists in an international competition we won with Blueprints of Paradise, Dayo. And I believe he's actually also on here. So again, this is one of our work. But with all this, we do it believing in the nature of community building. We want to we don't want to just do just any building, but as a team, we come together and find a true calling for a design that would resonate. This here is Tab Noir, duplex, and the idea, comes from things that are true to local context. We were engaged in with major housing development. Now this one here, I work with my dad on it. And this is a large master plan for housing. But what we did was that even in the process of designing the housing, you would realize that there has to be something in there that makes this community stand out. So branding, once you brand yourself in a certain way, it becomes, the things you do becomes extension of that true passion or what you believe in. So it doesn't just stay with you. So it's not just about it, which is why Ikigai makes you go through the whole process, right? You need to have passion and the challenges that will make you move forward. One recent project that we're involved in is the Kumasi International Airport. So that's myself and the king of the Ashanti. Otunfor Osetutu. Please, all these things are highly important because in the midst of it, you'll be challenged. If you're working in a corporate environment, people will challenge you. But when you truly believe in it, they respect what you bring on board. They value your presence. And you become a very strategic team player. If you walked in the airport, you see yellow and all that. The branding, the naming of things, you know, how one journeys through the gardening, all these things, the furniture, everything, the color, right? So all these things become extremely important. Here in this particular one, as the local, we were only the local architects on it. And our main job is to make sure that we bring the Kumasi Ashanti cultural context and modernize it for this amazing edifice, right? So, for example, the columns look like trees. That talks about Kumasi, the Kuma tree that was planted. And so when you go the tile arrangement, you would notice that it's almost like leaves are falling down. The book ends, you know, the shape almost like a stool. So all these things are things that come in. The ceiling, the sky sails that you see, the yellow ones represent the gold, the Ashanti gold, right? Branding is everything, and so forth. So these are some of the other things that we've been engaged in branding. All right. So our latest project right now is we're doing something with Prince Harry and Meghan on the Invictus Center that we are designing. In fact, we are doing the entire project in terms of its design and branding. So we came up with almost the whole thing, and in due course, you will learn a little bit. You could probably read a little bit about it in the People's Magazine, the UK People's Magazine. I published it not long ago. So, when does personal branding stop? Never. Never. Even as I'm talking to you, I'm still learning, right? It never stops. You are always branding through your email, through the way you talk, how you just have to be consistent, right? Your social media is now your resume. People will Google you. Are you Googleable? When people go there, what will they find out? Right? Color, it's a huge impact. Have you noticed that I love yellow? Because, you know, it's about, it gives creativity. It exudes creativity. Right? Your network is part of your brand. The people you associate with is part of your brand. So choose your friends wisely. Choose your acquaintances wisely. The people you're engaging with, when you follow organizations like Graduate Turned Professional Academy, you are looking, you can already tell that this person is destined for greatness. They didn't pay me to say that. Your voice is a branding too. How you speak is very important. It could be a signature. You know, as I'm speaking every now and then, I'm trying to figure out, well, people are noticing. You are noticing, right? So practice, and you will find who you truly are, the authentic self. Authenticity always wins. People are drawn to authentic branding. My students, I always tell my students, listen, you have to find a you in you. Your brand of what you believe will even outlive you. Right? It's not just about being famous, but you have to be known for something very specific. Then the numbers will come. Some of the greatest people that I have learned from don't even have one follower. So do not measure a good brand just by how many followers you have. Just be true to yourself. Be honest, have passion, have uniqueness. Do it, let it make you wake up. And trust me, it will be successful. You will be successful. It can lead you to amazing opportunities, partnerships, engagements. People trust your expertise, and more importantly, they trust your consistency. Personal brand is a mix of intentionality and creativity, and authenticity. Remember, the word authentic keeps coming up. What are some of the challenges? We have a lot of challenges. Sometimes I'm not sure, we don't have clarity, we have to figure it out again. You know, we put certain brands, how many times, like you're doing something, you're like, I'm not sure it's resonating well. Sit back, redo it. You need to stay in trend, if you will. There are a lot of applications out there. AI is out there. Learn. Don't be in the background and say, oh, I've done it, I've made it, and it's enough. No, you got to keep going. You need to be consistent, because inconsistency can kill a personal brand overnight. Amazing quote from Aliko Dangote. And what did he say? To succeed in business, you must build a brand and never destroy it. One competitive advantage I had when I ventured into manufacturing was my brand, Dangote. Now look at him. In a continent of 1.4 billion, Aliko Dangote has moved out and has stood the test of time, now worth, I believe, over $30 billion, right? So, and the number one. So what should I say? Start by branding you. You are the best work. With this, I would like to say thank you so much for listening to me. It's been such a pleasure of talking to you today, and I'll take some questions, if you will. Thank you so much.
Wow. Kobina Banning, KK.
Thank you.
That is lovely. That's great. I love it. I love everything that you just said. I've learned a lot from you, from this session. This is truly a masterclass indeed. Don't you agree, audience? It's a masterclass. But I want to ask you a few questions, and a few questions also came through whilst you were on live. One question I want to ask: what are some of the strategies for leveraging partnerships to enhance my brand? Just from somebody.
Okay. So the question is, what are some of the what?
Strategies for leveraging partnerships to enhance my brand.
Well, once again, as I mentioned in the presentation, it's really, you need to really have the three ingredients, right? With your three ingredients, you are able to attract great partnerships. I think normally for what has worked with us, in as much as you would seek out and research more, partnerships need to have an alignment of belief, right? We both need to believe in our mission and what we surely believe the targeted audience are, and that what we do, should it come out in a way that contradict that authenticity that you've crafted, that could be a challenge. So definitely it has to be a win. And after you found the right partnership, it's all about the win-win scenario here, right? We've partnered with a few projects, and what has made it very successful is the fact that we all had one goal, because you don't necessarily have to agree, but if the mission is to you know, it's not only a one-man show, right? But if you're able to collaborate effectively for the main goal, then becomes that win-win situation. So in terms of strategies, I believe that you can definitely, I would basically apply my 3 ingredients on it. Make sure that you align yourself with brands that other brands or other peers or other collaboratives that share the same vision. And I feel like that is highly important. Now, there could also be a question. We've collaborated with non-like-minded individuals before, just so you know, because sometimes you may feel like you are in a certain comfort zone. So by creating and changing the script, you realize that you have a different type of multifaceted team, and you will be shocked the kind of product that could actually come out, right? So it'll be interesting to know what industry they're in to further talk a little bit more about it, but this is something that I could share. Any other question? Thank you, Mona Lisa. Appreciate it.
Wow, thank you, KK. Thank you very much. I like that. One thing that you said that actually resonates with me personally is the quote you gave about Jeff Bezos. Said that what your brand, personal brand, people will start talking about you when you're not in the room. They will give a very interesting statements about you and all that. Can you elaborate on that for me, please?
Yes, absolutely. So, you know, it's interesting you bring that, because it does also resonate very well with me. A lot of times you've worked really, really, really hard, and always remember that branding is a process. Thank you very much, Alexander Apia. Very, very thank you. Branding is a process, and in the journey of that process is not necessarily static. It's very, very dynamic. It changes. So when you may be able to resonate with certain people, they may not say it right in your face, but when you're not there, oh, you know what? So I bought a furniture from Kobina, and I think it would actually really work in this project that you're doing. We recently had a referral from a professor in Amsterdam. We're doing a beautiful project for him. How did we get that project? We got it because another professor that we were communicating with, we were doing something differently. Now, mind you, we have 5 sectors, so it's not just the architecture. So you had done maybe a furniture out there, but then you're like, oh, I know this person. They're reliable. They're authentic. They can do for you. It speaks volume. It's more powerful than going to bid for the job, because you go in there and it's already been decided for you. So the things, how you communicate with people, the things that the relationships, the networks, the golf clubs you join, the church you go to, the fellowship, all those things are highly important. But it's not just about the golf you're playing. It's not just about the prayer, but the people you are communicating with. believe it or not, can take you to the next step. And so always remember that when you meet with people, you are live and you're selling yourself. And that when you leave, truly is what they say about you when you're not there is so powerful, because that defines truly who you are, because you're not even there to say it. Your brand has been established, and that they are speaking of it. It's an amazing opportunity for you to succeed.
Wow. Thank you very much. Another spectacular, fantastic response. I have another question here from somebody. So would you therefore classify personal branding as one of the main factors to drive the future catalyst of personal branding?
That's a good question. Well, definitely, remember that, and no, this is a very, very, very good question. And it's a subject matter that a lot of, even in education, we are still trying to, there are things that are discussions in the discourse. Why is this very important? Because about 10 years ago, you didn't have an AI tool that will help you design or enable you, and you didn't have certain mediums. It was 10-15 years ago, it was you. I mean, most of which is why I really respect some of these biographies, the names that I have put on there, because imagine now you're competing. Remember the demographics that I gave, the amount of people that are living in the urban society, and you're trying to stay unique. Well, there has to be something. You cannot, there's no scarcity. So there has to be something that makes you so unique, so good at what you do, for you to be able to attract. Because even if I have the tools to my disposal, right? The information you put in there, because everybody has access to the same tools, but what makes you unique? So developing a great personal brand, you can now extend it and let those tools amplify and make you even just better, right? So it's highly important that one really pays attention to personal branding and use it as a way of life. And quite frankly, it's a beautiful life because you're investing in yourself. If I don't get paid for my brand, I'm living my brand. I enjoy the places I go to. I enjoy the things that I am attracted to, right? I enjoy the creativity. I enjoy my team that I've attracted. I'm enjoying so every aspect about it, it is you. So I think it's the best investment that you can do in the 21st century, and use the other things to amplify it. Go ahead.
I was going to ask about the Ikigai, Japanese concept. For you to expand on it more for a young person who has just become a professional in maybe, let's say, in the architecture world.
Okay. Well, not just architecture. Really,
of course.
It's all in all industries, right? I feel that Ikigai, and to be honest with you, as I mentioned, I'm not an expert on Ikigai. It's one of the books that I read, and again, the author is Hector Garcia and then Francesc Morales. So you can just look that up, and it takes you through yes.
Tell us the authors again, please.
Okay, yes. So hold up. I think I have the book here.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very
So
much.
the author is Hector Gracia. So if you
Hector
Google
Gracia.
Ikigai and then Hector Gracia, it's an international bestseller. It's amazing book that you can take a look at. And Emma, thank you for joining. And yes, I appreciate that. It's really incredible to help you identify what motivates you, right? It gives you, you will learn a little, you'll learn about your passion, your mission, your profession. You learn so much about what vocation is. And when you start to go through all these things, it helps you identify, what is it that you're good at? What am I really good at? Right? What do I love? What do I love? What am I good at? What do I love? What does the world need? Young folks, this one here is very important. So you spoke about yourself. What do I love? My passion. So you've done all these things, but the product that I'm going to get out there, do they really need it? And even after you are done, there is also, my team calls it the aftercare. So here you are, you have done a product, right? It could be a building, it could be a nice fashion apparel that you sent out there, a great author, a great book you've written, amazing chef. You've done all the food and all that, right? Aftercare basically is the feedback you're going to get today, tomorrow, the next day, a year, decades to come. That is so powerful. If you're able to think of what the world needs, you're providing, you give all the passion you've given. Again, read all these biographies, right? You will notice that if you're happy with your Apple Watch, why? Because if you have an issue, you can always go back. You're happy with the product that you bought. You can always ask questions and they give you feedback. Brands that do not succeed are brands that don't have effective aftercare and stay consistent. So please, it is highly important that we definitely look into, Ikigai helps you wake up every morning. You keep going. You're very motivated. You keep you keep your passion at night. Japan is known for its aging population. When I was in Japan, one of the ladies that served, the older lady called her granddaughter. Granddaughter was 72.
Wow.
I mean, wait a minute. It doesn't even make any sense.
No.
Why? Right?
No.
So, but they was an onset, but they lived so long. And this lady was making tea. And it's one of the best, like using the right ingredients. And then they tell you it's been in our family for 400 years.
Wow.
So love your craft. And when you love it so much, you can also pass it on to others.
Passion.
And it has come to stay. Right? All right. So
thank you very much. That's so powerful. Very powerful. Another question came through about communication. That you seem to hit on communication a lot. In fact, you made a statement that a gentleman made about act it until you are it. Act it until you are. And you linked it to communication. Can you please expand on it a little bit more for us?
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Douglas. Communication is It's an interesting your communication right now in multimedia, right? You have when I'm there, my email, my phone call, all that. Now, let me give you an example. You call someone. Now you're in a business office. It's and I'm going to share a secret with you guys, by the way. Okay, it's very important. When you get a phone call from the office, even if it's on a day you are not working, or from a client, even when it's, you can lie down and it's like, oh, yeah, hello, Mr. Whatever. No. Always sit up. Be ready, because every communication with this person can lead you to something else. It's very, very effective. Communication, from how you answer phone, the way you send your email, in fact, even your peers. That's another thing. You may think that your next big thing is supposed to be Bill Gates, it's supposed to be meeting Oprah Winfrey, it's supposed to meet no, it could be the person next door. So how you even communicate, quite frankly, literally.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. My neighbor, we just did my neighbor's property.
That's right.
My neighbor, and it's because of how you communicate. You need to always know that it does not end. It could be a cousin, it could be parents, your effective communication goes a long way. And now remember, I'm not asking you to be polite. I'm not asking you to be gentle. I'm asking just be true to who you truly are. Does it match the brand that you are creating? So if you're a hip hop star and you want to, be very good at it, and you start talking like, hello, sir, how are you? It's not going to sell. There's a way. You got to act it till you make it.
That's right. That's right.
If you want to be a CEO and you go like, I want to get a CEO, what kind of CEO do you want to be, right? If you want to be a chef, and that's another thing, Douglas, let me add this really, really, really quickly. You need to know the lingo, guys.
The lingo, as in the way you speak. The lingo.
Listen, guys, listen to this part here. There's a way you talk to the prince, and there's a way you will talk to the pastor. There's a way you talk to the market entrepreneur. There's a way you will talk to. You need to learn the lingo, because you need to understand the verbiage that they are accustomed to. So if it's a product design, they're setting industry terminologies that you need to understand, and you need to be good at it. In architecture, they're setting descriptive things that you could tell a client that will translate his dream into reality. Right? So that is really important. Understanding the terminologies within the specified industry to which you are trying to brand your targeted audience to. So this is very, very important.
Very good. Thank you very much, KK. Once again, that is super. I like that. Fantastic. That's a brilliant answer to the question that was asked. Let me just quickly link that to networking. How do you network in that sense? as a professional.
Today, Dr. Douglas, you are letting us bring all the secrets out to. Huh? I thought it was a master class, but I didn't know that I had to pour everything out like that.
We want to glean a lot from you today. I want to learn a lot from you today.
That is incredible. Networking. You know, networking, be it either networking on social media or once again, networking in a gathering for that matter, you have to again know who your audience are. I have learned to talk less so I can hear more about what others are also doing. That does not necessarily mean that you should not share. You need to always throw in certain things. But again, it depends on which trajectory you're in. There are some areas that you go and you are there to seek. You're there to seek information. There's an area you go, you want to give information, right? Depending on the network. So you need to know the audience. It's not every group on WhatsApp that you have to join, right? It's not every group on WhatsApp that you need to join. You need to learn to, because there's certain groups that when you associate yourself, it can also might not necessarily be in line with who it is that you're trying to create, right? So in my journey of network, you know, for example, if you're in a country club, and well, now let me just step back. Let me step back. A young graduate, okay? As a young graduate, how do I network? What are some of the things that I did? You know, number one, I try as much as possible to go to different events. Now, depending on if you are a fashion person, you need to follow fashion brands that are aligned with you. There's different trends that are coming out there. And remember today, earlier in our presentation, we spoke of the increase in our population gives different preferences. And so what you do is that you need to tailor your brand according to your target audience, right? And therefore, it is highly important that you are able to know who you are networking with, speak less, learn more, and then inject where need be. I recently went to, I got invited to do a showroom for a company that is doing Bentleys. My partner really loves fast cars. So in the midst of communication and all those other things, you realize that you learn more about what you call it, fast cars and why it's important and all that. So speaking of my business partner, John, so John really is interested in Porsches and all that, but through the language and through certain networks, it allows you different opportunities. So mind you, as you're moving, if you're always going to, if in fact, in your area, there are certain places that you go, you will never ever meet a person that you ought to, you know, there's certain areas. It's like if you always go to a certain public cafe area and all that, you should know where you want to go. You just don't go. When I'm in London, I just don't go to just any tea place to drink tea. I'm very selective of where I drink tea. I'm selective of where I meet people to have meetings. When I'm setting up a meeting, I just don't set up a meeting. Depending on how much the person is paying. And this one is more off record, right? You need to know what they're accustomed to because your surrounding will add to the communication. Right? You're surrounded. The people, if the person loves art and you're trying to build something for them, meet them at the gallery. So as you're walking and you're looking at art, they're admiring the art, but you're talking about architecture. Right? If the person has kids and you're trying to design furniture for them, take them to a park. As the kids are playing and, doing all these other things, you're talking about design, because you put them in a comfort zone. They're true to themselves. You are true to yourself. The synergy will then create that future that you aspire. Okay? So that is what I would want to talk about on community. I think, but again, it's communication is so broad. It is just so broad. But guys, take the 3 ingredients. Yes. Mm-hmm.
The 3 ingredients are, guys, passion, uniqueness, and honesty. And I like honesty the best, because honesty brings you total completion of who you are. And you also mentioned, lastly, we don't want to keep you too long, because we said 1 hour 30 minutes, and you have spoken with us. You've been with us for more than 1 hour, and I'm so grateful. We are so grateful. You don't get time. You don't have. You are not somebody who has less basically time to just mess about. So getting
but it's a pleasure.
It's a great thing for us. It's a gold star for us. Anyway, I was going to ask you about creativity. You mentioned creativity, and I'm linking, because I'm a chartered marketer, I'm linking creativity to architecture and to personal branding, all with the 4 together. And I think it's can you elaborate a little bit on that for somebody who is a young graduate who is looking for a job, let's say a job in the palace, for example, parliament?
Okay, so the question is to elaborate a little bit on creativity,
on how creative a young graduate, a young professional can be in securing a job with the government, for instance.
Okay.
In this country, or say in Africa, or all over the world. Let me say all over the world, because now the world is global.
Right, that is true. So, in terms of creativity and also being unique to yourself and in industry specific, again, today we've learned quite a bit about industry specific language. We've learned about being honest. We learned about the authentic you. Always remember that first impression counts. And you don't necessarily also have to always look at one direction. In fact, there are times that occasionally you will be surprised that on not the usual places can also erupt opportunities for you. I think if you want to go into parliamentary politics or anything like that, obviously, having the right internship and going to certain community engagements, being proactive in the community, start from the grassroots, right? You need to figure out what are the grassroots, go through those meetings, but excuse me, also understanding what those beliefs are, right? And playing your part. Rome was not built in a day, that's for sure. But your contribution in currently, I'm part of the British Airways Future Lab, where they talk to audience about their experiences, and it's a great platform. So you have all these travelers that talk about their experiences, and that collective experiences tends to drive you to creating that future that ought to be. You need to be in a place, in platforms, in areas that when you engage yourself, it can then connect you to one thing to the other. Don't be shy to introduce yourself. My name is X. I'm really interested in working in the parliament someday. Here are the things that I'm doing to actually make it happen. There's nothing wrong with that. Because what have you got to lose? Nothing. You have to act until you make it. How do you the people at the palace, how do they dress? How do they do things? Where do they go to eat? It is really, and again, all these things, you have to start from somewhere. And you need to have diverse avenues. And it's not just one avenue. I always tell my students, you cannot be just a master of just one thing. You would need to be a master of multiple things so that in the process of branding, when one type of brand or one type of area is becoming obsolete, you need to upgrade yourself.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. KK. Last question for tonight. If your personal, there's a question from the audience. If your personal brand were a superhero, what would its name be, and what would its name be, and of that superhero, a superpower, and what superpower would that be, basically?
Wow. Wow. Whoever it is, I need to collaborate. Yes. I cannot hear you. You're muted. You're muted. Douglas, you're muted.
What superpower would a superhero have?
Yes. Oh, what superpower will the superhero have? Resilience, for sure.
Resilience. Wow.
Yes. My superpower will have resilience, for sure. We are in times that you need to be able to face the challenges that come, because if you want to stay afloat and you want to keep going, the power is resilience, being able to pass it through any type of hardship. When you feel down, you want to get up, you want to do it. When you already have it, you want to get up, you want to do it. When you need to extend it out, get up and do it, right? I think that will be resilience. To have resilience, to exude is resilience. I think it will be the superpower that they have. And who would they be? The power of resilience. Like we'll have that, and it cuts across the board, right? Because again,
wow. That is resilience. That sums it up well, and very, very clever, very well. We have come to the end of the session, but I want to thank you very much, Mr. KK. You've delivered a very powerful masterclass this evening, and we are grateful to you for you answering our invitation. We know that when we ask you again, and we believe that when we ask you again, you will make time for us, because you are a busy man. Look at how long it took me to get you just one phone call for one evening. We are so grateful to you. Thank you. You are all over the world all the time, so we don't even know where you are at this time. You mentioned Arizona, so we know you are in America this time.
That is great.
Are you going to Ghana soon?
No, not anytime soon. Again, staying. It depends. Again, remember, if my brand needs to be there, it's only a flight away. I'll journey through my brand to be there anywhere in the world. So
thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, audience, for participating in this masterclass, personal branding. And we had no other person than the man himself, Kobina Banning from America, all over the place, a global man, personal branding for over 20 years. This man is a sought-after speaker, a sought-after trainer. So please, share it, even though we are ending, share it, and let people know about tonight's powerful, fantastic delivery from the man himself. Thank you very much, Mr. KK, for honoring our invitation once again. Thank you, audience, for joining us tonight as well. God bless you. Bye-bye. We will come up with our updates. Check our website for updates and check our social media handle as well for updates on our next masterclass, whether in person or online. Thank you very much once again for joining us tonight. Bye-bye.